So, you want to own a mansion in Beverly Hills. Most people think this conversation starts and ends with one number, the price tag. They look it up, see something between $3 and $30 million, and close the tab. But the price is almost the least interesting part of this story. Because the people who actually own property in Beverly Hills are not thinking about the purchase the way you think they are. They are thinking about carrying costs, California tax exposure, short-term rental yields, and exit strategy. And once you understand how they think about it, you will understand why Beverly Hills real estate is not just expensive housing, it is a specific kind of asset. One that operates by completely different rules than anything most Americans have ever engaged with. Let us start at the top. What the market actually looks like. The most expensive residential sale in Beverly Hills history was a property on Wallingford Drive that traded at just under $150 million. Before that, the Spelling Manor, a 56,000 square foot property once owned by television producer Aaron Spelling, sold for $85 million. These are not typical transactions. But they set the tone for what this zip code believes it is worth. Below that level, the market splits into two distinct categories. The first is what brokers call the ultra-luxury tier. Homes above $20 million. These are gated estates on Mulholland Drive or in the Bel Air Flats. Private pools, staff quarters, screening rooms, car galleries. Buyers at this level are primarily paying cash. They are hedge fund managers, technology executives who cashed out during an acquisition, international buyers from the Middle East and Southeast Asia treating American real estate as a store of value outside their home currency. The second category is what passes for entry level in Beverly Hills. Homes between $2 and $6 million. At this price point, you are getting somewhere between 2,000 and 4,000 square feet. 3 bedrooms, updated kitchen, small yard, possibly a pool. This is where the conversation gets interesting, because this is the tier where a mortgage is still technically involved. The mortgage nobody talks about. A conventional 20% down payment on a $4 million property is $800,000. That leaves you with a mortgage of $3.2 million. At current 30-year fixed rates, which have been moving significantly over the last several years, and will continue to vary, a $3.2 million mortgage carries a monthly payment somewhere in the range of $19,000 to $21,000. That is before you have paid a single dollar in property taxes. California property taxes on a new purchase are assessed at roughly 1.1 to 1.2% of the purchase price annually, thanks to Proposition 13, which limits future increases once you own. On a $4 million home, that is approximately $44,000 to $48,000 per year, roughly $4,000 per month added on top of your mortgage. Then insurance. California's wildfire risk has driven several major insurers out of the state entirely in the last few years. Farmers, State Farm, and Allstate have all limited or stopped writing new homeowner policies in California. Owners of high-value Beverly Hills properties have increasingly been pushed to the California Fair Plan, the state's insurer of last resort, or to specialty carriers at significantly higher premiums than they would pay in most other states. Budget conservatively, and your monthly carrying cost on a $4 million Beverly Hills property mortgage. Taxes. Insurance lands somewhere north of $25,000 per month before you have touched a light switch. What California actually takes here is where the economics of Beverly Hills separate themselves from luxury real estate almost anywhere else in the country. California has one of the highest state income tax rates in the United States. For high earners, the top marginal rate reaches 13.3%. Combined with federal income tax, someone earning enough to service this mortgage is handing somewhere between 40 and 50 cents of every dollar earned to federal and state governments before writing their housing check. When Florida and Texas have no state income tax, the effective cost of owning in California is not just the mortgage, it is the entire tax structure of the state you are operating in. This is not a small consideration. It is why a significant number of entertainment industry figures, technology executives, and business owners who made their money in California have relocated to Nevada, Texas. or Florida in the last several years, while keeping California properties specifically as short-term rental assets rather than primary residences. Which brings us to the other side of this equation. How Beverly Hills property actually makes money. If you are buying a Beverly Hills mansion purely to live in it, you are treating it as consumption. You are spending money to occupy a space. But a growing segment of ultra-high net worth buyers treat Beverly Hills real estate as a yield-generating asset. The short-term luxury rental market in Beverly Hills has expanded significantly in the last decade. Properties on platforms like Airbnb Luxe, VillaWay, and specialized concierge rental agencies command rates that most Americans find difficult to believe. A fully staffed 5-bedroom estate in Beverly Hills with a pool and a home theater can rent for anywhere from $30,000 to $100,000 per week, depending on the property, the season, and whether the Academy Awards or the Super Bowl happens to be that weekend. Several management companies operate specifically in this space. They handle the bookings, the staffing, the cleaning, the concierge services. The owner provides the asset. The management company handles operations and takes a commission, typically somewhere between 20 and 35% of gross rental revenue. For a property generating $50,000 per week in peak season and running at even 30 weeks of occupancy per year, the gross rental income lands around $1.5 million. After the management commission and operating costs, staff, maintenance, utilities, supplies, the net is considerably less. But it exists. The asset is not purely a liability. This is how the economics of Beverly Hills real estate work at the top of the market. Not a home you live in. A hospitality business that happens to look like a home. What it actually costs to maintain. A general rule in real estate is that annual maintenance costs run somewhere between 1 and 3% of a property's value per year. On a $4 million home, that is $40,000 to $120,000 annually in repairs, upgrades, and upkeep. Beverly Hills pushes that figure higher. Pools require regular chemical treatment and mechanical maintenance. Landscaping at this level is professional, not casual. Security systems in gated communities come with monitoring contracts. Smart home systems require updates and technical support. If the property is being used as a rental, the turnover between guests demands professional cleaning teams, linen services, and restocking. There is also the matter of staffing. Many Beverly Hills properties of this caliber operate with at minimum a property manager, a housekeeper, and a groundskeeper. Full-time staff at a larger estate can include a chef, a personal assistant, a driver, and a security detail. The EARS requires that household employers pay payroll taxes, provide workers' compensation, and meet California's specific wage and hour requirements, which are among the most stringent in the country. Labor is not a side note in Beverly Hills. For properties at the higher end of the market, annual staff costs alone can exceed $200,000. Let's run the math on 3 versions of this. Option 1. You buy a modest Beverly Hills property at $3 million. 2% down means $600,000 out of pocket. Your monthly carrying costs, mortgage, taxes, insurance, run approximately $22,000 to $24,000 per month. Annual maintenance runs $40,000 to $70,000. You are not renting it. This is a primary residence. Your all-in annual cost of ownership, excluding what you put into the down payment, is somewhere between $300,000 and $350,000 per year. You need to earn well above $500,000 annually just to sustain this. Option 2. You buy at $5 million and operate it as a hybrid primary residence for 6 months. Luxury rental for the other 6. At $30,000 to $50,000 per week for 20 weeks of active rental. You gross $600,000 to $1 million before costs and management fees. After expenses, you net somewhere in the range of $300,000 to $500,000. That offsets a meaningful portion of your carrying costs but does not eliminate them. You are still writing a large check every month. You are just writing a smaller one. Option 3. You buy at 10 million or above and operate it as a full hospitality asset. You are not living there. It is a business. You have a management company running it as a luxury rental 50 weeks a year. At this level, the gross revenue potential is significant. Several Beverly Hills estates have reported achieving 7 figures in annual rental revenue. After management fees, staffing, insurance, taxes, and maintenance, the net yield is typically modest as a percentage of asset value, often somewhere between 3 and 6%. The bet is not on yield. The bet is on appreciation. Beverly Hills real estate has historically appreciated over long time horizons, and that appreciation is the real thesis for most buyers at this level. What this actually is: an airport makes money from the captive audience inside the terminal. Beverly Hills real estate makes money from a different kind of captivity: the finite supply of land in one of the most recognized addresses in the world. There is no new Beverly Hills. You cannot build another one. The zip code is fixed. The number of estates that will ever exist there is essentially fixed. Every buyer who wants to say they own property in Beverly Hills must come to the same small market. That scarcity is the asset. The mansion is just the proof of entry. The people who understand this are not buying Beverly Hills because they love the house. They are buying Beverly Hills because the address is a monopoly on a specific kind of prestige. And prestige in American culture has historically held its value better than almost anything else you can own. The question was never whether you could afford the house. The question was whether you understood what you were actually buying.